Welcome to Sexy Mom Abundant Life with best-selling author and coach Kathy Williams, a show to help you tap into the support of the universe and access the abundance that's available in every area of your life. Listen in for conversations and tools to create more ease, joy, and possibility with family, relationships, business, and living. Kathy's joyful perspective will help you tap into your own wisdom and create a life of presence and abundance your way. Listen live on Thursdays at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific, or anytime on iTunes or at IOM-FM.
Hey everybody, it's Kathy Williams, and I'm so excited for today's topic because it's something that impacts every single area of our life. There is no area that relationships don't impact. So if our relationships are flowing more smoothly, that usually lubricates the wheels for the other areas of our life to flow more smoothly as well. We will talk about love relationships. We'll also, what we talk about will impact other relationships too. Your mother, your children, your friend, things like that. So, keep listening for tools for relationship magic. And before we dive in, I always love to hear from you. In fact, I get a lot of the best ideas from listeners, and that keeps things really relevant to you, what's going on in your life. It also keeps me from having to think of all the topics. Of course, there are many different directions that we can go. And as I was listening to the intro, I was really thinking about how one of the words I used, or phrases I used, just is so important to me. And that is helping you tap into your own wisdom. Because so often we're taught that the person outside of us, maybe the doctor or the older person, the parent, the whatever it is, the teacher, knows more than we do. And that is not true. You're the expert on your own life. So keep the things and tips that resonate and, put the other ones aside, and maybe be willing also to throw out some of the tenets or ideas or assumptions that you've been living from in order to try some new things on. A couple of years ago, I created a book called Relationships Done Easy. And what's really funny is I would take this book, I took it to a place like a Unity church one day, and it wasn't Unity, but something like it. And I took it and was talking about it and doing a workshop around the book. And some people were like, relationships easy? I don't think so. And I was like, well, that's actually what's going to show up for you. If you don't think you can have ease, a sense of flow, and fun with the relationships, you won't. If you think relationships have to be hard, guess what? You're going to create hard drama, challenges, whatever. And that's not to say that there won't be things that naturally come up, right? Like, even if you have a relationship of flow with a partner, that's not going to say you're going to agree on everything. You just won't. You're two different people. But that is part of the fun of relationships too. They stretch us. They help us see different points of view. They help expand our worldview and hopefully expand us and our lives in the process. And if your relationships aren't doing that, it might be a good time to look at those. So before we go too deeply, I said, please contact me, and then I didn't say where. Like, okay, how do you contact you if you don't say where or how? The best place to reach me is at meetkathywilliams.com. Kathy with a K, Williams with an S. Most of the places you're listening to, you can find that in the description. And also there is a free money rain exercise and a create your life exercise, which is super fun for starting your day. I get a lot of feedback about that. So let's dive in to this can of worms, right? Relationships can be a big one for people, especially because, when things aren't going so well, they kind of rub us and bring up past hurts, past frictions. Our relationships are very often colored by our past. The way we saw our mother respond to our father, the way we've responded or someone else has responded to us in a past situation. So we're usually not going into them with clear glasses. Sometimes I use the analogy like you have an experience and then it makes the glasses colored, purple, or maybe it's like leaving a spot or cutting off your awareness, and therefore like it's like a bird pooped on your glasses and you can no longer see out of that part of the lens, and now you're trying to navigate through the world without being able to see really clearly. So we're going to take a look at that and some strategies around it. And to me, what's really key in relationships is communication. And I know that's not always the easiest thing, right? Especially if something is up for us emotionally or we're in a negative energy around something. Sometimes communicating can feel like a real challenge. So I'll give a sweet little communication strategy and then also talk you through a tool I really love to help us recognize that we have choice and we can shift our energy and emotion really quickly. So the first thing I'd like to read to you is a quote from Dr. Nathaniel Branden. And while I don't agree with his whole philosophy, I love this. And I'm sure you can find it somewhere on the internet. Do you create a context in which your partner can feel free to share feelings, thoughts, fantasies, hurts, and complaints without the fear that you will condemn, attack, or withdraw? Yeah. Wow. So do you create that kind of environment? And I can hear a lot of people saying, well, they don't create that environment for me. Okay, wait. First off, do you create that environment, that kind of context? And if not, what's in the way? Like, how do you get triggered? Is it getting defensive? Like they say something and then you just immediately retaliate? Is it that it feels too big, like, oh gosh, or that they seem to blame and so we just want to defend? What is it that prevents creating that kind of openness to receive whatever they have to say without judgment? So to provide a space like that, it requires a sense of non-judgment, right? In order for me to create a space in which you feel free to share your feelings, your thoughts, your fantasies, your hurts, your complaints, without me condemning, attacking, or withdrawing, or without you even fearing that I'll do that, right? It requires that I be an open space of non-judgment, and that I provide a space of respect. Like, yeah, I see that's how you're showing up. I see that you fear. I see that, I'm willing to receive however you come and express, right? And I'm not saying put up with abuse. That is not what I'm saying. But looking at our own willingness to be the space of non-judgment. And the more you dance in the space of non-judgment, the easier it is. So some of the tools to help us get into non-judgment, right? And again, judgment is so much colored by our past. Oh no, when my past boyfriend said the very same thing this guy is saying, he then, left me. Oh no, when my dad said the very same thing, I felt abandoned and distant. So I'm going to project that onto this situation. No. All right. Now, in a moment, I'll give you a tool for, when you identify, that's what's really going on. But for now, one of the most useful tools is to say, like, interesting point of view. Interesting point of view. I feel the need to defend. What is that? Interesting point of view. And if we get really curious, a lot of the time it comes from the desire for stuff to be right. But deeper than that is usually a fear. Like, what if I'm not right? What if I'm wrong and I'm so wrong and I'm bad and I'm unworthy of love? And I'll tell you what, that may not even be an energy that's truly yours. You're just hooked into it, okay? Because most people are walking around with the energy of, I'm afraid I won't be loved on some level, which is why people do all the proving, all right? I have to prove to you I'm smart. I have to prove to you I'm good enough, that I love you, whatever it is. It comes from a sense of, I'm not good enough deep down, and if someone saw that, they would reject me. Okay. So here, what are the steps then you can use to create a context in which your partner does feel free to express anything? Okay. And that's not something I can really answer for you, right? It's, what are the steps I can take? When do they not feel that way? Oh, when I retreat. Oh, when I retaliate. When I turn away. Whatever it is. And then by seeing what you do that creates an, quote, unsafe environment, it also can help you unearth what you can do to create a safe environment. How do I show that I respect them? I mentioned in the book Relationships Done Easy some of the things women do to kind of emasculate men, like roll their eyes. Or I tell the story of being at a party and this guy was so happy. He was like, oh, look what I looked up for you. You asked for this. And he had looked it up on his phone. And she said, yeah, but you didn't do it right. And it was at a party. This was in front of 3 or 4 other people. Like, that kind of action doesn't foster a sense of respect. So what are the actions you can take? What are the words you can use that help you embody respect for your partner? And one of the things that really can lead to a sense of respect, a sense of non-judgment, a space of non-judgment, is gratitude. Because gratitude and the energy of judgment don't coexist simultaneously. You either have one or you have the other, okay? So if you think about one of your relationships right now, could even be your relationship with you, and start to have gratitude for that person. Being thankful for their presence in your life, no matter how challenging it is. Sometimes it can be challenging, but bring a sense of appreciation for them, their presence, what they've evoked in you. Yeah. And notice that judgment and gratitude don't coexist. in the same moment, right? So gratitude is like the door to creating the space of non-judgment, the space in which you're not defensive, the space in which you have a real sense of respect for the other. And similarly with you, gratitude for you cultivates a sense of respect for yourself, a sense of non-judgment for you. And a really simple yet potent exercise you can do is, whether you do this exercise on yourself or on your loved one, write a page of things you love about them. You know, so just list them out. I love that he gives such great hugs. I love that he's a great cook. I love that he's, you know, for my husband, he's so good with the kids. He really has a talent for communicating with them. Or if it's about you, oh, I love that I'm so artistic. I love that whatever it is, and make a list. I remember years ago a coach had me write 100 things I like about myself to kind of reformat or reprogram all of those negative messages that I, you know, tapped into again and again and again for years, right? All that negativity. So just as we go to the break, get a sense of, you know, what can I be? What can I add? What actions can I take to foster a sense of non-judgment, a space of non-judgment and respect? Gratitude may be one of those. And we'll be right back in just a moment. Thanks for listening to Sexy Mom, Abundant Life, IOM.FM.
Feed your soul with waves of consciousness on OMTimes Radio. OMTimes Magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment. A philanthropic organization, their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. OMTimes, co-creating a more conscious lifestyle.
We have all read about or heard about becoming more spiritual, about working with our energy, the awakening, the shift, about being our authentic selves, living our purpose, reaching our true potential. The challenge doesn't lie in the knowledge, it lies in the execution. The struggle becomes connecting to that limitless self-healing part that each one of us has and gaining control of who we truly are. Hi, I'm Dr. Reverend Aisha Hogan, and you are invited to join me on a master's practice on OMTimes, Mondays at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard and 11 a.m. Pacific Standard.
Would you like to have a life of more clarity and abundance? What's possible for you when you get out of your own way? Connect with Kathy Williams for private coaching or join her online to transform your relationship with abundance in every area of your life with the Radical Abundance course. Kathy also travels, facilitating radical abundance and access consciousness bars and foundation around the world. She'll be in London, Hawaii, Hilton Head, and other fun locations soon. Visit www.meetkathywilliams.com for a class schedule, to connect with Kathy, or invite her to your region and get some free goodies.
Hey, hon, what you doing with your phone? Taking pictures?
No, I'm asking it questions.
Like what?
Hey, Bobo, do flowers have best friends?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, follow me. I want to show you something. Look, flowers do have best friends.
Whoa.
Some answers can only be found in nature. Discover the unsearchable. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a trail near you. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Sexy Mom, Abundant Life, everyone. This is Kathy Williams. and we are talking about relationships today. And a lot of the things will apply to your romantic relationships, but not only, right? Relationships are this beautiful ecosystem that help us learn and grow and expand ourselves, and also kind of unearth some of the old wounds and heal those. So as we go on in this show, we'll talk a little bit about some of the ways we can both unearth and also clear up and heal some of those wounds. If you'd like to call in, you can always call in live and just come on over to IOM.fm. The number will be right there, and you can come say hello to me and make life very interesting on the show. You can also always submit questions over at meetkathywilliams.com. I also love YouTube. I'm posting to YouTube at least once a week, usually a little bit more. You can comment below all those things. And let me know what you think of the show or what shows you'd like to see as well. And then if you hop over to meetkathywilliams.com, you can get a free Create Your Life exercise. And you can also see the upcoming classes. And next week I have an online class that has to do with relationship chords. So these are something I did a show about several months ago, and something that when you're able to become aware of and release these chords, make relationships flow a whole lot better. And they're energetic. The Hawaiians talked about them in ancient times up to the present, and they're easy to change and release. And I will show you several different ways to do that. And then you can pick the one that you like the most and use that, or use them all. After that, I also have an online class called The Jobs You've Taken On, and that's also in relationship, because a lot of the time we take on the job of trying to make other people happy, often at our own expense. So you can find out about those two, and then a third relationship class, all online for the next 3 Fridays starting mid-November at meetkathywilliams.com/upcoming. And that's where all the upcoming stuff is. So creating a space where the other person feels respected and heard and appreciated. Well, what if they're not creating that for us, right? What if we look at our relationship and we feel like, well, they ignore me, or don't listen, or I feel abandoned, or whatever it is, right? Powered. What if I'm doing all of this and the other person is not doing it? Okay. Well, the first thing to look at is, are you really doing it for the other person? Because sometimes we think we are, but we're not doing it in a way they can really receive. And oftentimes when we're in a relationship long enough, all those sweet, loving actions we did in the beginning kind of fade away. All right? They just, you no longer strive to look really good when you go out. You no longer leave the sweet little notes or sexy texts or whatever it is. It's sort of like life becomes status quo. And if you look around, that's actually true of like the majority of relationships, right? They're a little bit boring, a little bit settled, a little bit just tolerating the other person, all right? Instead of enriching, enlivening, and that sort of thing. That's actually why I put together the book Relationships Done Easy. And you can get it at relationshipsdoneeasy.com. I put it together to give a different example of relationships, because much of what we see is not what we'd really like to create. right? At least much of what I see is not what I'd like to create. People who, like I mentioned in the first bit of the show, sort of are snappy at each other or not so nice to each other or invalidate each other in front of others and stuff like that. Totally not interested in that. So I was not seeing a lot of relationships that are really a model of how to be, which is why I put together Relationships Done Easy. I sought out people who had something that I really like Dana Lewis has an amazing chapter, or Cass Thomas lives with her husband, her second husband, in Italy, and she said she was just, some of the things he said, oh, you don't need to do the dishes. She was just like, really? No, I'll do that. Where it's like, oh my gosh, this is available. All right. So the second thing I'd really like you to start to look at is, aside from, starting to do some of those loving actions, maybe loving touch, loving notes, or whatever it is you did in the beginning of your relationship, is also start to feed that in you, right? So you're doing it for them, and you might be like, well, I'm constantly giving, but they're not. Okay. Also remember that everyone has a different love language, right? So yours might be receiving gifts. Theirs might be hearing I love you, or touch, or whatever it is. And the book, The 5 Love Languages, is super useful. It's super useful to look at and identify, like, for me, it's really touch. Oh, but for my mother, it's gift giving, which is why she loves to give us gifts, right? Because that's her love language. And see if they're demonstrating love. Your partner, your mother, whomever it is demonstrating love, but it's not actually the way you love to receive it. Okay? And then you can reinforce the positive actions that they do. So, oh, when you rub my shoulders, I feel so good. It really makes me feel loved, whatever it is. Okay, so reinforcing. As my sixth grade teacher said, accentuating the positive, right? Finding the things that are working and commenting about those. Making sure the other person knows, hey, I love it when you massage my butt, or whatever it is, right? So this, in communication, I mentioned communication is key at the beginning of this show, and this is a little communication sandwich that I've recently learned in the past couple of months, learned to use, and I just love it. I think the origin is Virginia Satir, or it was inspired by the psychologist Virginia Satir, and this is from the PAIRS Foundation, P-A-I-R, or P-A-I-R-S Foundation. And so it's a little communication sandwich that pre-paves whatever you're going to say with appreciation. So you appreciate the person. You say something that you really like about them. Like, oh, you know what? I really love that you made dinner and you were so thoughtful to remember that I don't like that with garlic, or whatever it is. All right. And then new information. So you appreciate, then you say something that's new information, like, oh, you know what happened to me this morning? I got a phone call from my childhood friend, or whatever it is. Okay, so you're peppering your conversation with new information, because this is one of the things, the absence of which creates boredom in a relationship, right? If you don't have something stimulating and interesting and new, if every day they come home and talk about, oh gosh, so-and-so at the office, blah, 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 right? You've heard that 16 dozen times, and it's not new or interesting anymore. 3, something you're wondering about, or a question. Oh, I wonder what it would take to get we have an iTunes problem. I wonder what it would take to get our iTunes challenge resolved. Like, got any ideas? Okay. And then number 4, so we have appreciation, new information, puzzles or questions, like I wonder. Number 4 is concern, not a complaint, a concern with a request for change. So that might be, hey, you know what? I noticed when you park in that spot, it makes it a little more challenging for me to get in. Would you mind parking a foot or so back? Or something like that, where you're asking for a change. Or, you know what, I really like when you say it, when you do your communication this way. And I find that when it's done this other way, I kind of get emotionally upset. Okay, something. And then number 5 is your desires, your hopes, your dreams. Something like, I would really love for us to go to Greece together or whatever it is. Okay, so it doesn't have to be a big desire. It doesn't have to be a big vacation, whatever. Or it can be something really fun, like, hey, I would love in the next 3 years to put a remodel on, do a remodel of the kitchen or whatever. And again, if you know that you have a desire, it may be nice to pre-pave the whole desire and the whole ask with this kind of sandwich, where it's like you've already given appreciation, you've already created a connection and some interest with new information. Maybe ask them a question, a concern with a request for change. And you may leave the concern out if you're asking, a desire. So you don't have to use all the pieces, but they're all really useful, and it can make for a nice interchange. And the way my husband and I do it is we've been married 15 years. No, we've been together 15 years, almost 16, and married 11. And this has added a nice sort of spice to the soup, something more delicious. And the way we do it is, one of us will go and do our thing, and then the other will initiate, again, starting at the appreciations. So, you know what, I will type this out and put it on the radio page at meetkathywilliams.com, and that way you can download it from that page in case you'd like to see it and use it. And it's really designed, again, to create a context in which your partner feels free and you feel free to share feelings, thoughts, desires, complaints, hurts, all of it, without the fear that you will condemn, or attack or withdraw. And of course, those are common responses when we're feeling threatened. All right, people take criticism better when it's in a loving environment. So one of the simple things you can do, even if you're not going to do this whole sandwich, is look at, like, in my life, what's the ratio of complaints to criticisms? Am I constantly nagging? Well, you may be constantly nagging your kids. Take a look. Okay? And if so, what if you were to throw in a lot more appreciation, a lot more acknowledgement? So, hey, you got your homework done so quickly today without me even having to help you. Really well done. Thanks. I like it when you do that. Acknowledging the person and their actions, and acknowledging their being, acknowledging their attempts. then, you know, every once in a while when you do throw a criticism or a complaint in there, it's not taken so harshly because the majority of the communication is loving, kind, caring acknowledgement, not a barrage of criticism. No one thrives in an environment like that. It's like pouring acid onto a plant. Like, it just doesn't do well, okay? If you're watering it pure, beautiful water, and then every once in a while it gets a tiny bit of acid, like, it's going to do much better than if the only thing you feed it is acid. All right. The other thing about this kind of thing is when you're sitting together with that communication sandwich, you're giving the person your full attention. You're putting your attention on them. And one of the things we get to look at in our life is like, when I'm interacting with my partner, am I looking at them? Am I giving them my attention? When I'm interacting with my child, am I looking at them or just yelling from across the living room or talking to them while looking at my phone, right? All of these different things make a difference. So honoring that person with your attention. Now, of course, you can't give them your full attention 100% of the time. Doing your best to really, when it's required and when it's going to make a difference, give them your attention. Turn away from whatever you're doing, even if it's just for a moment, to give a hug. Hey, you know, I'm involved in this project that I really have to get done by tomorrow, but I can't wait to hear about your day during dinner. Some kind of acknowledgement like that makes life better. So when we get back, we'll talk about some of the wounds, how to get in touch with those, uproot those, so you can have better relationships on every level. Thanks a bunch for listening to Sexy Mom, Abundant Life, everyone. Hello.
The future of Internet radio is here. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Ascending Hearts is no ordinary dating site, but a spiritual dating site with a purpose, to link you with your soulmate. We engineer the serendipity so you can trust that you will attune with someone that has the same matching vibration as you. Ascending Hearts, the conscious dating site for the spiritually aware. Try Ascending Hearts for free. AscendingHearts.com.
Would you like to have a life of more clarity and abundance? What's possible for you when you get out of your own way? Connect with Kathy Williams for private coaching or join her online to transform your relationship with abundance in every area of your life with the Radical Abundance course. Kathy also travels, facilitating radical abundance and access consciousness bars and foundation around the world. She'll be in London, Hawaii, Hilton Head, and other fun locations soon. Visit www.meetkathywilliams.com for a class schedule, to connect with Kathy, or invite her to your region and get some free goodies.
Hello, I'm Sandy Sedgbeer, host of OMTimes Magazine's flagship radio show, What is Going On? My passion is sifting through information, research, and innovations from new thought teachers, speakers, and researchers pushing back the boundaries of what we know about life, energy, metaphysics, and the universe. I love shifting perceptions about who we are, why we're here, and how quickly impossible becomes normal when we open our minds, expand our awareness, and accept that the only limits that exist are those we place upon ourselves. So if you're the kind of forward-thinking, eager investigator of what lies beyond the current reality that most perceive, why not make a date to come play with me in the field of possibilities at 4 p.m. Pacific Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time every Thursday, and together we can discover what's really going on.
Hi.
Hi, we're the Goo Goo Dolls. We're fortunate that our daughters have what they need to grow and learn. But that isn't the case for nearly 13 million kids in the U.S. that struggle with hunger.
Childhood hunger is a heartbreaking reality that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste and provides it to families and children in need.
You can help kids in need in your community by visiting feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Sexy Mom Abundant Life, everybody. It's Kathy Williams, and we are talking relationships today. And so we've done a lot, sort of the talk part. These are some tools you can use to, or some ideas you can, and things to look at to create change and to create an environment of warmth and respect, and kind of use gratitude and acknowledgement as the lubricant for creating the changes you'd like to create in your relationships. The other thing, the last part I'd like to bring in, and if you have questions, please message me at meetkathywilliams.com. We can go further into this huge realm of relationships, and there are lots of theories and ideas and even studies out there about this. The last thing I'd like to look at before we do an exercise is to start to recognize the patterns that bring about disagreements. Okay, so for me, it's if someone brings up something that's a little heavy or very heavy while after I've had a hard day and while I'm hot, forget about it, right? Like somehow that hot piece just adds extra fuel to the fire of like, this is not the time, right? The fuel to the fire of the agitation. For my husband, it's like when he comes home from work is not a good time to address certain things. It's better after, he's had time at the beach, right? Better. So you're like looking at the environment of where things are already a little heightened and when not to bring up more heightened topics, right? And, where are, and when we're better off. Right? When you're agitated already, it's probably not the best time to bring up money situations and financial disagreements. Choose a time when you're calm. Right? And we haven't even dived into how to handle disagreements. We'll save that for another show. But that sandwich, communication sandwich, can really help with those disagreements. So that is one strategy for handling them. So let's do a little exercise for when you feel like, okay, I'm doing all the things, right? I'm creating a great environment for my partner or my mom or whatever. Yeah, I'm left feeling abandoned, or I had a moment when I just felt really threatened and upset and stuff like that. So when you're in that heightened emotion or energy, contracted energy, we'll do this exercise first, and then I'll show you another super simple way to change it. What you want to look at is this energy, this contraction is a gift. It's not a problem. It's a gift. Like, oh, thanks for showing me. I have charge around that. Like any trigger you have is a gift. Okay, cool. Thanks for showing me this is present. All right. Now, when is the first time I experienced that? Okay, what age? Oh, I was 3. And you don't have to remember the situation. It's just, what age is the first time I experienced that? Or what age am I being right now? 3, 7, whatever it is. And then you tap into that situation, that kind of root situation. All right. And is there a name for it? Like, oh, fear of abandonment, or you know, whatever it is, whatever's present for you, not good enough. And then you just draw light. So let's do it now. Tap into an emotion if you have one that's contractive, or a recent challenging interaction, whatever it brought up for you. Tap into that where you feel it in your body. And when you sense that, how old are you being? Or what is the root age when you first experienced that? Now, draw universal energy. It can be any color that intuitively comes. Okay, draw it into that area of your body to soften and transform and release and change that. The phrase I use a lot, that, when I was asking, because I was using one clearing statement, and then I kept asking, okay, well, what's even faster than this? And I got collapse it back to source energy. So all that vibrational pattern, just collapse it back to source energy, or just to energy. Okay. Take a few deep breaths. And now the next piece is to bring in loving energy. And you may be able to do that with this person in mind, this person who kind of triggered you or whatnot. If that's not possible, think of a loving experience, like loving your kitten, or loving being in the ocean, just loving energy. It doesn't matter what situation or memory brings it. Okay. So you're first honoring whatever energy contraction has come up, right? Thank you for being here, right? Because it's giving you information. It's showing you still have something to clear up. So that's number one. Number two is asking, like, what age am I being, or what age is the root experience of this energy, of this contraction? And then you get that age, and then you tap into the area of your body and you infuse all of that light of any color into that area, asking to collapse this old pattern back to energy. So, and then the last step is to tap into an energy of loving. Okay? That could be gratitude for something. It could be a memory of loving, an experience, or a person, or an animal, or life itself. Okay? So super simple and very potent for changing old stuff and recalibrating, getting a different set point for responding to challenging situations. All right. And the last thing I would like to touch on as we finish the conversation on relationships is recognizing that whatever you would like with the relationships is possible. It is. Okay? Now, there may be some things to heal, and you can use the process we just did. There may be some things to learn, right, or use or apply. Maybe you've learned so many different things, but you don't actually apply them. Relationships Done Easy is a beautiful example of tools and processes and inspiration from people who have gone through relationship challenges and are on the other side, and some beautiful examples of thriving relationships. And then seek out thriving relationships. If you know a couple who are in their 80s who are just so in love with each other, ask them how they did that. I go, and use them as a model. If you and look for examples of people who have great relationships, like Steve and Chitissa Bowman are amazing. Will Smith has a beautiful relationship, and John and Missy Butcher, the founders of Lifebook, such a gorgeous, inspiring relationship. And list out the qualities that you would really love to have, because those are possible. Okay? They may not always be possible with, a particular person, although let go of your expectations, because they may be possible with a person you're with that you don't think they're possible with. All right? That's the beauty of asking for something and putting you're shining the flashlight of your awareness in that direction. Is you may have decided that you can't have easy flowing communication with someone because you haven't had it with them for 8 years. And then as you shine the flashlight of your awareness and your attention and your desire on, this is what I desire, easy flowing communication, you may be surprised about how that shows up, that it actually does show up with ease. Right? We're going to do one last exercise, and that is when anything in relationship is crunchy, you have a point of view about it. Okay? And so in order to create more ease, you can simply expand your energy beyond that. And this is not only useful for relationships, it's useful with any crunchiness. So go ahead and, if you can, close your eyes. And if not, that's totally fine. You can still do this. Sense your body and expand your energy just outside your body so you're aware of the space around you. And now into the room until you're aware of all the walls, the floor, and the ceiling. And expand your awareness into the neighborhood, town, or countryside, out, 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 out. And expand your awareness of your awareness out beyond your country. So just stretching that awareness like an ice cube, melting outward gently, fully, and expanding your awareness to include the entire planet as a small ball, getting smaller and smaller as you expand and expand and expand across the universe. And when you're in a crunchy space, it usually just kind of dissolves as you expand. Softening, releasing, expanding even more. Yet when you're in a loving space and you begin this exercise, that caring energy, that loving energy actually amplifies and becomes greater. Okay? So practice those energies that you would like to expand in your life. And guess what? They will. In marvelous and unexpected ways, expand into your experiences, your relationships, and your life. Thanks for being here with me, everyone, on Sexy Mom Abundant Life. We're here every Thursday at noon Hawaii and 2 Pacific. And you can find us in the meantime, if you can't wait until Thursday, on iTunes And over at IOM.fm, it has all the archives right there. You can find me at meetkathywilliams.com, and the upcoming classes are /upcoming. Super simple. I'd love to hear from you, whether that's to have a private session or just questions about the radio show or ideas for upcoming shows. And also sometimes your idea just deserves a little YouTube video all its own. So I do that. I'm known to just post a 2 or 3 minute video right over on Facebook. I get a lot of Facebook or YouTube, and I get a lot of little questions from listeners and people on my email list. So those go right up there. So let me know how you are. I love to make the show relevant to you. MeetKathyWilliams.com. Come join me for the relationship class starting on November 22nd, online from anywhere you are in the world. And if you can't be live, just send me your questions and you'll get the recording. All right. Aloha, everyone. Have a great week.